Alright guys, we're going to go ahead and get started on our printmaking for today. If you remember, you had the assignment of making sure that you had your 4x6 piece of paper with your lettering design completely worked out on it. So what's going to be black, what's going to be white, what you want it to look like. Now, once you have that done, you're going to be able to get your printmaking block. When you get your printmaking block, please remember that we're going to actually be doing two different projects. You're going to do one on this side and one on the other side. So you have your printmaking block, you have your paper, you're going to lay them together, and you're going to take that ruler and you rub over the top of your block with that ruler. And this isn't like a, oh, I'm just barely rubbing it. No, you're going to have to use your muscles and really rub on that block. When you do that, remember that your printmaking image is going to transfer right to your block. It's going to be backwards, that's okay. When you stamp it, it'll be the right way. So just make sure that you get that black and white design. If it transfers a little bit but not too much, you can always draw right onto the block as long as you have the lines there to help you out. Now remember also that you're going to be assigned a printmaking tool. Make sure you write down your number because that's the tool that you have all of the time. You don't want to like go, Miss Carla, what was my number again? You just want to write it down so that you remember it. Okay, now once you have your printmaking tool, remember that the top part of it, okay, should not come off. If it does, you have to bring it up to the teacher and I'll put it back together, making sure that all three of the parts that belong in there are in there. It's the end that actually opens up. And if you remember, when you dump it out, you should have how many blades? 4. Make sure that you have all 4 of those blades. And remember, they have little numbers on them, and like 21 is for carving really small details, all the way up to 25, which would work for carving those bigger details. So a couple things when you're getting ready to put your blades in here. If you have a blade and you have it in the top part of your tool here, okay, so I have it in there and it's not really super tight yet, but I'll have people who are trying to like get them out and they're like, Miss Carlisle, it's stuck, it won't come out. Okay, this is gravity at work here. All the pieces are trying to get out of the little tiny hole down at the bottom. If I take that same tool and I turn it upside down, now the only piece that's going to try to come out of there is the piece that I'm lifting up out of there. So you don't have to just keep twisting until it falls off. Just make sure that you're holding the tool upright and working with gravity again instead of against gravity. But remember, it goes in there and then you carve them. There are in the back of the printmaking toolbox some little tiny blocks that you can use to kind of practice your carving tool before you start on your final project. Remember, string cheese is good, cottage cheese is bad. I know it sounds silly, but if you're getting that cottage cheese, you're not carving your block. You're just tearing at the rubber with the dull tool. You have to make sure that you're actually using that sharpened blade and cutting off those pieces of string cheese. Now, once you get ready to carve, you have to kind of think about what exactly you want your picture to look like. So I have this printmaking block here, which is exactly the same image as this block right here. So the difference is on this side, I transferred my picture and I carved away all of the pencil lines. Only the pencil lines. Nothing else. Well, I guess I did a little bit of the sky, but I just carved on the pencil lines. On this side of the block, I carved everything but the pencil lines. So I left all the pencil lines and carved the background away. So when you see it actually printed, the difference is the house that's mainly black with a little bit of white details to it, or a house that's mainly white with a little bit of black details to it. And it's not that one is right and one is wrong, it's just two different ways of carving the same image. So you have to kind of think about that as you're getting ready to carve today. Your goal for today should be to have I would say a really, really good start. I don't want to say most of your image carved because I don't want you to rush and do a bad job, but you definitely should have it transferred. You definitely should have some carving done, and it should be all cleaned up at the end of class. Remember again that if the top comes off, you have to ask the teacher to help you put it back together. Remember that you should have 4 different tool or tips in the end of the handle, and then make sure that you're getting your assigned number. You don't want to be responsible for somebody else's tool and have them lose your parts on your tool. Okay, there is a spot up in the window for you to put your blocks when you're all done. Since we are using both sides of our blocks for an image, you'll want to make sure that your first name and your last name and that class code are on the edge of your block. You can see that the Monday kids already did it, and so you'll just copy and put them in the Tuesday spots.